Okay then, hi there. This is the second time I've tried doing this Patreon live stream. I tried doing one 5 minutes ago. I don't know if anybody watched that, but I tried using a new YouTube way of doing live streams, and I don't think it actually went out to anybody, and Patreon didn't notify anybody. So I don't know if anybody saw that, but either way, I'm going to start over again and see where we go with this live stream for today. Okay, so essentially, I just want to give a very quick update in terms of DSNY Newscast and the new pins. These are the I'm a Waltoneer pins. They're going to be showing up on the channel from time to time as a chance to win these pins. And so these are not going to be the same pins that are going to be sent out for the $10 tier. These are just plastic pins, whereas the ones which are being sent out for the $10 and $30 tiers are the official Waltoneer pins. There's only 200 being made. They're the enamel pins, which are going to have custom backing cards and all sorts. And they're from what I've seen already, they're going to be pretty great. So I can't wait to send those ones out. But okay then. Well, I'll just wait for some more people. We've got one viewer so far. Shout out your name and I'll give you a shout out. Right, so I just want to run down some questions which we've had sent in already. Let me just convert this one over to screen share. 2 seconds. Okay. Right, so here we got some questions here. So already we had some questions. Patrick says, do you think there's a chance of having a third park within the US because the parks are at capacity? Personally, I feel that the parks probably won't be building a third park anywhere. Let me just turn that off. There we go. Cool. So I don't think that the parks necessarily will be building a third park anywhere in the US. Mainly for the reason that there's just Disney are not looking to build anymore in America. There's no rumors of Disney building a third park. I know there was a rumor made the rounds about a Villains Park, but that was more of a fan-made rumor. I mean, it'd be pretty cool, but it was a fan-made rumor. And so I could see Disney expanding out in the Asian market. Other questions we've got: how often do you visit Walt Disney World, and would you ever do a meet and greet when Star Wars Land opens? I would be open to doing a meet and greet of some sort, but for my next trip to Walt Disney World, probably not, because you'd need to organize a venue and stuff like that, because I think Disney would frown upon us all doing a great big DSNY Newscast meet and greet inside the park. So if you see me out in Walt Disney World later this summer, definitely say hello. I'd love to, put a face to the name which I see on either on Patreon or on YouTube. I'll happily, put you in the vlog if I'm vlogging at the time, and give you a little shout out within the vlogs. And it'd be great to talk a little bit of Disney with you guys and put a face to a name, really. Also, right, so we got Randy says, do you think themed hotels will bring more guests into the park? Which themed hotels would you like to see? I would like to see a Haunted Mansion hotel. Right. These questions, by the way, are coming in from Patreon, my Patreon page. So Randy, I completely agree. I'd love to see a Haunted Mansion themed hotel. It's something which would be a brilliant theming of that hotel. I think that Disney will be expanding out in the themed hotel market in the next, it's hard to say, in the next 10 years, I'd say. Star Wars Land, from what I'm hearing at the moment, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and the Star Wars Hotel, the Star Wars Hotel shouldn't open that long after Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I know Disney are really pushing to try and get this out as soon as possible and open up the Star Wars Hotel, possibly in time for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. That's what I'm currently hearing. They are really, progressing things on that. And I could easily see that being part of a massive campaign, because when it comes to the 50th anniversary, you're going to have Tron in Magic Kingdom. You're going to have a big Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster opening in Epcot, and so therefore they'll want something over at Disney's Hollywood Studios to say we've got something over there, and that will be the Star Wars Hotel more than likely. I don't know what we'll see in terms of Animal Kingdom, and that might bring us to the next question I've got here from. I know there was a question on Pandora. Let me just find the right one. Yeah, Greg Snyder and Philip Rosito says, take your pick. So we got a couple of questions here. Will Avatar be expanding beyond the 2 attractions at the moment, or will Disney see how a sequel succeeds? The interesting thing about Pandora is it was originally meant to have more than just those 2 attractions. The original plan for Pandora, the World of Avatar, was to have a roller coaster, an e-ticket roller coaster, as part of the land. Obviously something Banshee themed or something like that. But the roller coaster was obviously cut, and that put an awful lot of strain on Flights of Passage, because Flights of Passage wasn't meant to be the main e-ticket attraction for that land. Instead, it became the main e-ticket attraction for that land. And so, it could never reach the ride capacity, which, a lot of people wanted it to. And that kind of makes a lot of sense, the reason why Nave River Journey struggles as well in terms of, capacity. The whole land struggles because of the budget was kind of cut. I don't know if it went more into the theming of the land or whatever, but it wasn't meant to just have 2 attractions. Do I think there'll be a third attraction? More than likely not. I think they're more than likely going to build a table service, a true, themed, really expensive kind of Be Our Guest style, a table service restaurant within Pandora, possibly for the 50th anniversary. That might be what we come into Animal Kingdom by the 50th anniversary, but at the moment plans are kind of fluid in terms of that. Oh, by the way, I had someone reach out to me recently about the Indiana Jones themed land, which is, replacing Dinosaur and the Dinoland area. Apparently, Imagineers have been spotted around the Dinosaur attraction recently. Now, whether that means that something's happening in that area, the room also, the source also said that George Lucas was spotted nearby. Now, whether this means that I don't know whether George Lucas was spotted. This is just a second-hand account, but I don't know why George Lucas would be spotted, because obviously Lucasfilm is now owned by Disney, not by George Lucas. So, but the way it's moving, it does seem like Dinosaur will be converted into an Indiana Jones themed ride. I don't know if the whole land will be renovated and rethemed, or whether it will just be that one attraction, but I could see Disney possibly retheming that attraction. But then again, Imagineers do plenty of tests and work on the attractions, then never move forward with it. As we can see with the Main Street USA Theatre, we got the concept art for that theatre, and it never, it's now being cancelled. It's been pulled off the coming soon page, hasn't it? Right, Matthew A. Youngblood says, I was curious about what's your opinion on the iWorks documentary on Imagineering. Why is it taking so long? Now, when I saw the clip for the iWorks documentary back at the D23 coverage back in 2015, that's when we first saw a glimpse of it. It looked amazing. I couldn't wait to watch that documentary. Anything, Disney park related in terms of documentaries, I'll watch. And I don't know why it's taken so long. My guess is it could be that they've got an awful lot of interviews about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, because obviously Galaxy's Edge is the most immersive land which they've ever created. So for them not to include that as part of the iWorks documentary, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's I might put a link down below at the end of this or something like that about the documentary, but it's interviewing loads of Imagineers, and it talks about Cars Land, it talks about Pandora, the World of Avatar. I'm sure that Disney will want to basically include Star Wars Galaxy's Edge information as part of it. I just want to make sure I'm seeing the comments here, because I don't know if this is actually on the chat. Let me just double check, because 2 seconds. Sorry about this, guys. Don't don't want to miss any comments that people are currently writing, because I don't know how good Google is at this sort of stuff and whether they stream out the comments on the Hangout thing. 2 seconds. Sorry about this. But whilst we're doing that, let me answer a couple more questions. So we got, are you excited for Pixar Pier from Karen Valentine? I love your new series. So yeah, I am excited for Pixar Pier. I am a bit underwhelmed by it, to be honest. Back when I heard about it in D23 Expo last year, and I did that video on it, I was a lot more excited about it then. And since then, we've seen more and more of a concept art, and it just seems like Disney keep scaling back the project a little bit more and more and more. The Incredicoaster, I think, is a bit of a missed opportunity for it not to be something. I don't really know if I like the name Incredicoaster, but you know, it's going to be great for DCA to be getting something else more full-fledged in terms of that. Paradise Pier, when I visited Paradise Pier last, it did seem a little bit like a waste of theming space in terms of that. Let me just see what people are there. Okay, right. Let me just see if. Yeah, I'm not. 2 seconds. Sorry about this. This is terrible. This is a terrible organization. I'm a real novice to the live stream game, and if I'm going to start doing live streams on the main channel, I'm going to have to up my game in terms of that. Let me grab hold of this and send that one over there. 2 seconds. Sorry about this, guys. Have there been comments coming in which I've missed? Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, John. Sorry, there's been a comment there. Haven't seen any comments yet. Sorry about that. Right. Okay. So, also in terms of Bonnie says, what would you like to see out of Mary Poppins ride? What would your favorite parts of the movie be to recreate as a feasibility of doing as part of a dark ride? Bonnie, that's a good question. I'm a massive Mary Poppins fan. So it's difficult for me to just pick one scene, which I'd like to see him do. A traditional Disney dark ride, you know, where they get a collection of the scenes and tell the story, that would be very interesting. Most importantly, what I'd like to see is the Step in Time sequence and the Jolly Holiday sequences, because those would be spectacular for you to go through those two scenes. Personally, I feel that they might lean more towards the sequel, just because, you know, Disney like to, at the moment, the synergy thing is a big deal for them. So maybe we'll see more of a Mary Poppins Returns instead. But in terms of that, so I'm getting more comments here. Don has just written on Patreon. Just check this out. Wait 2 seconds. I've got a Patreon app. Mac won't play properly. No, I'm listening. Okay, good. And Craig says, let me just double check these comments coming in. 2 seconds. Sorry, I really have to apologize. This is terrible organization by myself here. I thought that Google would display the comments on the Google Hangouts live chat, but clearly they don't. So thanks a lot, Google. There's a reason why I'm more of an Apple guy. Do you think the gondolas, this is Craig here, Craig A. Mason, as you can see, says, do you think the gondolas will be ready by Galaxy's Edge opening? Well, here's a little scoop for you guys. Yes, they should be. I haven't said it in a newscast yet, but we are looking at a early 2019 opening for the gondolas. It won't be this year. It won't be 2018. I know Mickey Views, another YouTube channel. I don't know where he's gone recently. Hopefully he'll come back soon, because, you know, diversity of news content is good. But in terms of the gondolas and stuff like that, they will be open by roughly around late winter, early spring. I'd say probably around April time next year. This time next year, then we'll start to see the Disney Skyline open. Mainly for the reason that they'll want to get those up and running at least 2 or 3 months before maybe an early opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I don't know at the moment. I'm still trying to find out confirmation on this, whether Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and Walt Disney World will open on exactly the same time. I think it'd be a missed opportunity if Disney didn't do that, because obviously once you've experienced it one coast, will you go see it in Walt Disney World? You might, but it's essentially the same rides. And once those ride videos leak out on YouTube, and it starts to spoil some of the secrets of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Walt Disney World, I don't know. It would be better, in my opinion, if Disney opened both of them on the same day. But who knows what they'll actually end up doing. 2 seconds. Blake Perkins has written on Live and Learn. live and learn. Live and learn. Okay, right. And let me just 2 seconds. Sorry, guys. Right. Don't want this to play. 2 seconds. Right. There we go. Now I can actually see the live stream. So here we go. And we've got an advert. 2 seconds. This is terrible. Right, there you go. Okay, yeah, we are getting more comments in. Haven't seen any comments. Right. I guess to make one comment, not sure about the Pandora adding a sit down with Tiffin's just being added near the entrance. Yeah, that's a good point. Tiffin's is very close to Pandora, so maybe they won't do it. But the rumor is that they were looking to add some sort of table service restaurant nearby, especially themed to Pandora. So who knows whether that will see it happening. But there's a reason why it didn't open with the land. But there's always a possibility. There is space reserved within Pandora, the World of Avatar, for an extra either table service restaurant or a small attraction. But I can see them opening more of a restaurant than an attraction. Thoughts on Walt Disney World's version of Tower of Terror? Okay, yeah. My thoughts on Tower of Terror are, I don't think that, as I said in the video, I don't see Disney overlaying any sort of Marvel theming to Tower of Terror in Walt Disney World. And personally, I don't want to see them do it. I'm fine with them converting the one in Disneyland Paris. I'm fine with them converting Disneyland in California. Those, to me, were always kind of, second-rate Tower of Terrors anyway. The original attraction of Tower of Terror with the fifth dimension and the, going, the trackless ride vehicle moving, the LPS vehicle moving, that is, a classic in my book for Disney rides. I mean, if I had to name classic Disney rides, it's Pirates of the Caribbean, It's a Small World, Carousel of Progress, Jungle Cruise, Big Thunder, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, Tower of Terror is one of them, Spaceship Earth. All of these are classic Disney rides in my book. I got a comment here from, who was it that wrote about the, Don's written about, the word on the street is that anti-Disney folks have sworn to sabotage the newest films, Avengers, Infinity War, and Solo, by flooding the sites with, hateful reviews, basically. Yeah, why do people do this? A lot of the talk on the internet about the Star Wars The Last Jedi getting negative reviews is it was DC comic fans who apparently tried to do it out of, I don't know, but maybe revenge for Justice League not getting the great ratings, which, obviously they wanted it to get. But if the movie's just not that good, then it might not just get those greater reviews in terms of DC movies. Now, Avengers Infinity War is tracking to be one of the largest openings in box office history. It's outpacing every single Marvel movie in the last 7 years. Black Panther, Avengers Age of Ultron, all of that sort of stuff. So it's really doing amazingly well. Apparently, it might make around $240 million domestic in the US in the first weekend alone, which is, to put that in context, I think Black Panther just did around 210, 205. So it's scheduled to open massively. Okay. I've got a comment from, I'm just trying to answer comments which people left a couple of days ago as well. Payden wrote, what is one attraction you believe should be updated and one that should be left alone? One attraction I'd love to see updated, well, there's two actually. Two attractions I'd love to see updated. Carousel of Progress is one. Please, Disney, just update that final scene. We've got VR nowadays. We've got everything. It looks so dated. Personally, I'd love to see more than just changes that final scene, but if they only change that final scene, I'll be happy with that. Spaceship Earth is the second attraction I'd love to see updated. Spaceship Earth is another one of my favorite attractions to sit on and just, you know, chill out with animatronics all around you. I love a good animatronic ride. So hopefully we'll see, you know, Disney update Spaceship Earth as well. But who knows whether they'll do that for the 2022 time frame for the 40th anniversary. Right, 2 seconds. Right, okay, let me just double check. Right, we're getting other comments here. 2 seconds. Sorry about this, guys. Comments all over the place. It's not cohesive. Sorry, I've messed up here. Right, yeah. So Blake wrote, "What and when do you think Disney is going to replace Stitch's Great Escape, and what do you think it will be? And also, what would you personally do?" I also have the same 2 questions about Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Now, Stitch's Great Escape is looking to be on the chopping block, but Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is not part of the plans, apparently. This is just all. This whole Tomorrowland thing is so fluid at the moment. Disney haven't got, you know, firm plans for Tomorrowland. It seems like, you know, they just keep throwing stuff against the wall, see what sticks. I just love them to have a cohesive plan. But what do I think will go into Stitch's Great Escape? This is not a cop-out. I'm just saying your guess is as good as mine in terms of that. The Wreck-It Ralph idea, if Ralph Breaks the Internet does amazingly well, maybe that'll be a green light for putting Ralph in there somehow. But at the moment, it's been tabled until, you know, we get further confirmation on Ralph Breaks the Internet. Personally, I'm happy to see Stitch go, but would really miss Laugh Floor. Well, to be honest, I wouldn't be sad to see either one of those attractions go. I'm just not a massive fan of either, to be honest. Just don't touch Carousel of Progress, Disney. Tomorrowland Speedway becoming a Tron Speedway, I can see that easily happening. It's what's rumoured. Apparently, there's another piece of concept art for the Tron coaster, which does show the future of the Tomorrowland Speedway and the theming of that, but it's been held back, so Disney just aren't showing it off yet. Maybe we'll see that later this summer. I'm trying to keep this concise. I know the last live stream went on for ages. I started around 5 or 10 minutes late, so we'll bring it to around the half-an-hour mark. Then we'll call it a day, because I don't know if anyone wants to sit there and watch me ramble on for 45 minutes or so. I could talk Disney all day though, but you know, it's great hearing your opinions in real time and managing to answer them, and we can talk about it. Right. You've discussed a third gate at Disneyland prior to this. I just watched a video on YouTube about this is Don Duncan writing here. Prior to this, I just watched a video on YouTube about a third gate being added where the eastern parking structure was originally being built before the city killed the plans. Any thoughts? Yeah, I think that was more fan speculation than anything else. I don't think there was any serious plans of building a third park there. It was wishful thinking. It'd be a great idea for them to do it. But they're not looking to build a third park at Disneyland, especially with the whole downtown Disney retheming, you know, revitalization. But the Marvel aspect, I think a lot of fans just wanted to see a Marvel theme park, and so therefore they started kind of a rumor about it. But the extra space on the other side of Harbor Boulevard, yeah, it would be a logistic nightmare to try and connect all 3 parks. That's always been the issue with Disneyland, though. That road really sits right in the middle and kind of disrupts it all. But I loved the idea of having a bridge that goes across the top. And Disney dropping plans for a bridge kind of annoyed me a little bit, because it would have been a more ambitious plan in the long run. But if they'd have just built escalators in and the checkpoint, you know, just beyond the other side of a bridge near the resort, they would have been able to do the parking structure where they originally wanted to build it. But you know, plans get scuppered, don't they? How do you feel? Megan Dragon asks, how do you feel about Disney changing Pirates of the Caribbean story with adding the new redhead lady? Yeah, personally, I feel about Pirates of the Caribbean, just don't touch it anymore. It's getting quite far away from what it was originally. And I was more upset about Jack Sparrow being added to the attraction than I am about them changing up the auction scene. Jack Sparrow implementation within the ride, I don't mind him being added. It was a way they put him in stupid places which don't really make sense, like popping out of a barrel and different stuff like that. I'd have preferred him to actually be in the jail scene, like from the first movie, and just have him appear once or twice, and not have him appear in every scene possible. I've got to say that the Barbossa animatronic in Disneyland Paris is stunning. It really is amazing. I love that animatronic, and I'd love to see that in Disneyland and Walt Disney World, but it's probably just an exclusive to Disneyland Paris. We'll see what happens when Pirates of the Caribbean reopens in Disneyland, won't we? Okay. I've got other comments. Right. So basically, guys, they're all coming in on Patreon here. Okay. So I'll just read them off from here. Loved the Ralph Breaks the Internet trailer. This is Craig Mason saying this. Playing before Isle of Dogs last night. Yeah, Ralph Breaks the Internet. It was a much better trailer than I expected it was going to be. The last sequence with the pancakes and the, Kitty gets the pancakes, I think it was. That was brilliant. I love that. And if it has that level of comedy all the way throughout it, it's going to be a great movie. Thomas Kitchen Dunn says, hi, Jack. What are you looking forward to seeing arrive in the next few years across the Disney parks? What am I looking forward to most? I think it's quite obvious. It's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I can't wait for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge to open. The amount of hype that I'm building towards this opening of this land. I hope I'm not setting the expectations too high, but it's going to be one of the most immersive lands that we've ever stepped foot in. And I'm massively looking forward to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Just the ambitious plans of the galactic credits and the cantina, and stepping into that world, and droids roaming around the land. Whether that will be a logistic nightmare of health and safety is a different matter. But all of this stuff, I just love how Disney are really thinking outside the box and trying to really progress that kind of theme park experience to an immersive world. We're getting other comments here. Craig Mason also says, enter entire theatre burst into laughs with the pancake scene. Yeah, it's a good scene. It's a very good scene. So essentially, we're reaching the end of the live stream. I just want to make sure I've answered everyone's questions who left one prior to the live stream going live at long last. If I want to elaborate on anything, right, okay. We got these other questions here. What are the odds of us securing reservations at this Star Wars hotel? Until we get further information, there's no information at the moment about the Star Wars hotel reservation plan. I expect it's going to be jam-packed. I think it's going to probably open at the weekends. I would expect them to just do it at the weekends, to be honest. Star Wars Hotel, much the same way as a bit like a cruise line operates, because the cast members are going to have to be on a continuous 24-hour shift, basically, to keep the world immersive. And it's going to only be for like a 2-day 2 to 3 day experience. And to do that, I think they're going to have to schedule everyone arriving at the same time. It'll be a bit like the cruise lines, basically. Will Toy Story Land be worth the hype? I heard the Paris Disney has a Toy Story Land. Yeah, a Paris version of Toy Story is called Toy Story Playland there. I like the theming of Toy Story Land. I think people will be surprised when we visit Walt Disney World's Toy Story Land how well, if that makes sense, Disney do the whole Toy Story theming now. It really does make you feel like you're the size of a toy, and it's a real novelty, and it's a pretty great immersive land. Yeah, I'm annoyed that they cut back on an awful lot of what went into that land originally back in 2015. I'd have loved to see a Woody's Roundup Village and stuff like that, but they cut back in 2015, and it happens. But I think people will be very excited to, they'll be very happy with what they'll experience there. Slinky Dog Dash, I just hope it lives up to the hype. It's the main attraction of that land. Well, Midway Mania will always be the main attraction within the Toy Story area, but hopefully Slinky Dog does a good job. And the last question there was, how is Walt Disney World preparing for massive influx into the resort after Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opens? Well, we're seeing the gondolas, the Skyliner open. They're preparing for the massive influx. You'll see an awful lot of the roadworks changing around Walt Disney World. That's all in preparation for not just Galaxy's Edge, but the massive influx that they're really expecting with the 50th anniversary celebration. They've got a massive marketing budget lined up for the 50th anniversary celebration. you know, you're going to see an awful lot of TV and social media ads for the 50th anniversary. Apparently they're really going to want to play on your heartstrings and pull on them and say, come back to Walt Disney World for the 50th anniversary. So let's just hope they don't paint the castle gold or anything stupid, because I can see Disney doing that. Don Duncan says, you've discussed other questions. Craig Mason says, thanks, Jack. Don't worry about the bumps with the technology. You have to keep trying new things and building the DSNY experience. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, it was a bit bumpy today. We'll maybe do more of these Patreon live streams before I go live with one to the 75,000 of other people outside of Patreon on the channel, because I don't want to have issues when I go live on a major scale. Better to have the mistakes here instead of with 75,000 people potentially watching. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the live stream for today. Regarding Patreon content, the next What If Disney will be coming out in May. I've got a good idea of what I'm going to be discussing. It'll be themes again. I hope you guys understand that with the What If Disneys, I'm trying to theme them to the decade. And to do that, it requires a little more editing and Final Cut ability and stuff like that to actually work out how to put the right effects on and make it look correct. And they take a lot longer to script than a normal DSNY newscast, because obviously I have to do all the research for it, I have to make arguments on it. It's a lot of more work for us. What If the Disney That Never Was will be returning this month. You'll be seeing a new one of those. Don't want to spoil what it's going to be about, but you'll be getting a new one of those this month. Now, I'm also wanting to work on a new concept. I don't know if I'll call it armchair Imagineering, as I previously said, or whether I'll just do it as my how Jack would fix. And I would like to do a video on how to fix Pixar Pier, or how I would improve Pixar Pier, and do it with some concept art with it. Rudimentary concept art. Basically a lot of Photoshop stuff to try and illustrate the point of what I want to get across with that. So basically that's the wrap up there. The pins, the enamel pins, which you'll be receiving as part of the $10 tier and the $30 tier, they look great, and they'll be coming out hopefully before the end of April. Sorry. The company that are making them, to make enamel pins, it takes a long time. It takes around 6 weeks. So they should be arriving either end of this week or beginning of next week. And then as soon as I've received them, I'll send them out, and it should take around a week to get out to you guys out in America. So they will be sent, and I'll be doing a video on them when they arrive, so you guys can see what they look like. I'm very excited for these pins. The mug situation for the $30 tier, they are going to be coming out soon. I'm maybe leaning to sending out 2 mugs instead of a 1 mug, because the 1 mug, which I was considering doing before, was slightly larger, 15 ounces. But it's quite expensive to do 15-ounce mug. So I can get 2 10-ounce mugs for the same price as a 15-ounce mug, if that makes sense. So I'm probably going to do the 10-ounce mugs and do 2 of them, and so you get a set of DSNY Newscast mugs for the gold members of the channel. And then, you know, it just more cohesive, basically, rather than just having a 1 mug kind of thing. But also the gold members will be getting pins as well. But and then the $3 tier for the content, we'll be doing more Patreon live streams. You'll be getting the Disney That Never Was, What If Disney will be coming out in May, and maybe more exclusive content. Maybe I'll jump on and give you a couple more extra videos here and there as we get closer to it. I'll be doing a lot more live streams so you guys can join in, and hopefully it won't be as bumpy next time. Anyway, with that being said, I think there's only one way to end this, and that is with a classic DSNY Newscast sign-off. Thanks to everybody for watching and joining in this live stream. And I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.